Alrighty, I'm Derek Silman, certified master herbalist, also a gardener. This is class number 3 of the DL Naturals gardening course. This class is going to be more of a fun class. It's going to be talking about hydroponic gardening, but also I'm doing a little surprise by showing y'all what can y'all do with y'all harvest. Most of the times after we've harvested, we might have an abundance of like jalapeno peppers, bell peppers, carrots, tomatoes. What do we do? So the second half of this class is going to be talking about what I've done with my harvest. Now, we're going to go through the recap. The first class was talking about the containers in a different soil. You can either use small containers or big containers, especially if you're on a budget. If you're on a budget, you can get those Home Depot, Lowe's, or any type of food grade buckets, and you can grow your fruits and vegetables. Make sure you create drain holes just using a drill and a drill bit, and that's it. You can get some store bought soil, or you can go ahead and create your own soil with like coca coir, peat moss, and you can mix everything together to create your own soil. And it's also important that you got to make sure that the fruit or the vegetable has the right type of container, because if not, from my experience, I've realized that if I don't have the right size container for that herb, fruits and vegetables, it will stunt its growth. So make sure that you have the right size container. And I also have all of that information so far on a Google Drive. And if you just type in your email, I can send you that information. Now, class number 2 was talking about from seed to harvest. I was giving examples of when you plant the seed and then when you harvest it, and I was talking about bug control stuff that you can use to with the pest control. Also, when it comes from that seed to harvest, I tell people all the time, it takes time and patience. You're not gonna be able to throw a seed in there and it start growing and you expect a harvest in 2 weeks. That is not going to happen. It's not going to happen in 21 days, not even 30 days. It usually happens within like that 30 to 60-day range, depending on the fruit or the vegetable. Most peppers and tomatoes, they do take a while, but if you take care of them, they will grow pretty quickly. Last time I also talked about different fertilizers. One thing I forgot to mention was about one of the most natural fertilizers is using banana peels. You can make your own compost type of water. You can just take banana peels, throw it in some water, sit it in a bucket, and allow it to ferment real good. I mean, the smell gonna be treacherous, but it's gonna be good for the plants. I also talked about compost. Compost is a real good way to get your natural fertilizer. You can take some old potting soil, you can take an old mushroom block, you can take food scraps, banana peels, pineapple, whatever, and just add it into like a trash can, or you can go to Amazon and get you a compost bin. And then you just throw all that stuff in there, and then over time, once you continue watering it, it will break down all of those fruits, vegetables, and all that stuff, and that's going to be good fertilizer for your soil. Now we on class number 3, which is the hydroponic way of growing your vegetables, and herbs. I can't forget the herbs. And this is one of the ways that I got started. When I was looking back at old videos, I remember that I actually got started in like 2022. And so in 2022, I decided to get the Aero Garden. I've seen a lot of people talking about the Aero Garden. It's a good way to start your garden. It's a good way to grow your own fruits and vegetables, and it's very easy. And with like the arrow garden or any type of tabletop hydroponic gardens, you can just put them on the tabletop in your kitchen, in your living room, and all you have to do is just make sure it has plenty of water and it also has enough fertilizer. That's it. That's more of your low maintenance ways of using the hydroponic garden. And there are different ways. Like the old school way would be where you would take this is I forgot, I don't know why, I don't want to butcher the name, but this is one of the plants right here that you would see in like fish tanks. And these right here, they thrive in water. So you can take something like this, you can place it in water, and you can get your herbs and stuff to grow. That's one of the old school ways. Then you have now, well, now I ain't gonna say now, but you also have something called a cracky method or cracky method. I might be butchering the name on that one, where you can take a seed, or you can take one of these like arrow garden hydroponic sleeves, and then you can put one of the cones in there, and you can set it in a amber mason jar and then set it in the dark corner for a little bit, or you can set it by a windowsill in order for it to germinate, and you can grow your own hydroponic. You can use the mason jar as a hydroponic garden. That's another way of doing it. If you saying that you don't want to deal with using electricity or buying expensive gardening type of stuff, that's another way to do it. Now here is, let me move out the way. See if y'all can see this. Let me turn this on. See if it's not too bright. Yeah, it looks like it's too bright. We're gonna keep the light off. So this right here is one of the ones that I first started with. I first started growing my herbs in the arrow garden. And when I say that it's very easy to do, it is very easy to do. So you definitely have to make sure that you keep up on the maintenance. It's just like in the regular garden, you have to make sure that you prune, because a lot of times, and I've made the mistake, and it looked like I had to trim a lot of this stuff off, because if you don't, that heat from that light right here will burn the top of the plants. That heat will burn the plants, and then you be trying to go and grab it, and you look around, and the top of the herbs, all that stuff is burnt. It's burnt off, and you wondering what's going on. So when it comes to, even with the hydroponic garden, you also want to take care of it. Just like I mentioned last time, from seed to harvest, you have to maintain it every single day. You got to look at it. Now, this is one of your, get up and goes, but you also want to make sure that you are paying attention to your garden. And for me, the easiest things to grow in the arrow gardens are more herbs, lettuce, kale. I've seen people grow tomatoes. I haven't done that yet. I've started tomatoes in there, and I transferred it to the big garden, which was a bad mistake, because some stuff are made for hydroponics and some are not. And so if you want to just grow strictly herbs or just make your own salads, the hydroponic way is the way to go. Any questions, any comments?
Have you tried peppers in the arrow garden?
You said, can I do what? You said
I said, have you tried to do peppers in the arrow garden?
Yes, I've tried peppers in the arrow garden. That's what I forgot to mention. I've done jalapeno peppers in the arrow garden. and they have specific ones that's specifically hydroponic, because sometimes those bell peppers, the stems can grow about as tall as a house. And so they have specific hydroponic ones, which would be like the mini bell peppers or jalapeno peppers that you can grow in the arrow garden. The same thing with tomatoes. I've also grown um, cucumbers, eggplant, jalapenos, bell peppers. I think those are about the only ones I've grown as far as like actual fruits in the hydroponic garden. So those would be more like on the bigger garden. So like my smaller one, I just did all herbs, and when I first got started, I did the salads. So if you're a person that's saying, you know what, I just want to just want to make salads. I don't want to go to the store, be buying all expensive lettuce that looks questionable. You can start your own salad garden, and with the arrow garden or even hydroponic gardens, they have like salad kits and stuff like that. So if you're saying that, hey, I don't want to dig through a bunch of seeds and stuff like that, you can purchase their kits, which might be easier. But if you want to use your own seeds, all you have to do is get like a pack of heirloom seeds. Also, make sure you have like these individual cones. The cone, well, at least like the little, you can call this like little soil, and then you can put it in there, and then you can start your own. Another thing is that you also, just like in the outside garden, you will, and this is a disclaimer, you will have to watch out for bugs. You will have to watch out for bugs. But the good thing about growing more herbs, that bugs do not like certain herbs. So like for my arrow garden in my garden system over here, once I paired like peppermint with like the mother's wort, and then I had like peppermint around my kale, I have not seen any gnats. So if you're gonna grow herbs with the or tomatoes and bell peppers, make sure you have like a companion plant. It's just like the same thing for a raised bed. If you have like a plant that pushes away those bugs, that will definitely help you in the long run when it comes to using your hydroponic garden. Let me pull up my notes real quick.
Where can you order them from? Is it Amazon?
Yes, you can order them from Amazon, or you can order them directly from those websites.
Okay.
I'll say Arrow Garden or Amazon have like some decent ones, and I'm actually about to share my screen and show you different brands that are good, and also budget. Depends on your budget. See, the top one right here are more your budget friendly. You see that the Arrow Garden, Sprout, and Harvest, those are on there. Those are like the most popular ones that you can use. And then again, I have all this information on the Google Drive file. And then you go to like the Arrow Garden Bounty, which is more like the big brother of the smaller Arrow Garden. Matter of fact, my Arrow Garden right here, that's more of a bounty. It's just a little bit bigger than the smaller one. And the good thing about some of these hydroponic gardens that are digital, they have different timers on there. So that'll tell you that when the water is low, that when you need to add any type of fertilizer, when you need to make sure that it's ready to harvest, how many days. And speaking of liquid fertilizer, a lot of them come with this certain fertilizer, or you can also find it with whatever hydroponic garden that you get on Amazon or on the manufacturer's website. And see, you see all of those different ones. And now the the more expensive one are like the garden or the lettuce grow. Those are more of the tower type of gardens, just like this one that I have over here. Now this one right here, it does give me a lot more than the smaller ones. Let me turn the light on. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So this one right here, I use for my salads. So right now, if I want to make a salad, I say, you know what, I'm just gonna clip all of the leaves and stuff like that, put it in a bowl, clean it, run it through the salad spinner, and we good. So this right here is the Garden system. Now I didn't pay that much that it's showing there. I got it on the discount last year. So I only paid about maybe because they sometimes have deals. I think I got this one for three ninety nine, but it holds up pretty well. I've gotten about four harvests of different fruits, and I've also grown cucumbers and bell peppers out of the garden system. And so, like the farm one, that's another tower garden as well, which it's a little bit taller than this one, and it has a lot more. And so these are more of your ways to still garden, but you don't have to have a greenhouse and things of that sort. And if you live in like a HOA or something like that, HOA, they start to trip. And so you can be like, you know what? Since y'all don't want me to have a garden outside, I can do my own on the inside. And then this is low in electricity as well, because you're wondering your electricity bill got to be super duper high. No, my electricity bill is not super duper high. Now I do have like the power conditions on there just in case, so it won't be no surges or nothing like that. And so these are very low in electricity, low in maintenance. All you have to do is just look and take care of it. Then you can start your own herb and salad garden. Any more questions?
How would that work if you got like dogs? Cause
I I
we
have
got
a
like
dog.
four.
Ooh.
It's a lot of them, and they be cutting up like they be cutting up. They be all over the place.
What type of dogs?
So we have a boxer pit. We have a Chorky, a Shih Tzu, and then it's a mixed breed. It's mixed with Chorky and Pit Bull.
Mm.
That's the one that terrorized everything. That's the Tasmanian devil.
Okay.
So she gets into everything.
So for that,
So would that tower not be a good
now
idea?
now being that it's on the ground, I wouldn't
Right,
suggest when you got dogs like that terrorize stuff, I wouldn't suggest a tower unless you have it in
tabletop.
unless you had it in a room where the doors closed and stuff like that. Then you're
Right,
good.
right. Okay.
But besides that, I would definitely suggest more of the smaller tabletop arrow garden or any hydroponic garden, because you can put it on the tabletop and to where they cannot reach it. Because I already know, like my dog doesn't mess with it, but when I first started, everything started to sprout. She was getting curious. She would get curious. She would start sniffing the leaves, and I had to train. Get away from that. Get away from
Yeah.
that. So if you have dogs, especially cats, cats do not care. I've heard many people that have cats and they have those type of gardens. They look around, everything is torn up. So if you have animals like that, you definitely want to, at least have a tabletop one or have it in a room to where they're not able to get to it, because they're just going to be curious and they're going to be like, what's that? And they're going to tear it up. Just like them squirrels was messing with my greenhouse one time. So your animals can be savage.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
So now, here comes the fun part. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I didn't. Now here comes the fun part. What to do with your harvest. When I first started with my arrow garden, and I first started getting a lot of herbs and a lot of salads, and it was growing real quickly. I didn't know what to do. I was eating them all the time, and then I was just curious, so I just started planting everything. I had stuff that I didn't really mess with. Then I started to get into holistic health, and I realized that, you know what, I need to do something with that. So one of the first things that I did is I had a humongous abundance of oregano and lemon balm. So I took the oregano and a lemon balm and I dehydrated it. I dehydrated it to where, and I just grind it up into a powder. So this right here is my oregano and lemon balm seasoning. You can take this and add it to some water. You can mix it with your tea because oregano has great properties. If you hear anything about parasites and things of that sort, they always talk about drink or take oil of oregano. You can make your own oregano. You can grow your own oregano. You can clip it, grind it. There you go. You don't have to pay $1,000 for some oil of oregano. You can make your own oregano powder, and then you can use it in stuff that you want. Just recently, this was my harvest outside. I took my green onions, I dehydrated, grinded it up, and made green onion powder. And when I say this is potent, this right here is strong. I mean, strong like the Hulk strong. So if you want that real good aromatic with the green onions, you can even grow green onions in the hydroponic garden. You can grow them, and then you can dehydrate them, and then you can clip them. Another thing that I did, this was actually my very first one. I mixed three basils together. This is literally me coming up with a concoction. Holy basil, Thai basil, and sweet basil, all in one jar. But each one of these have different health properties. Like the holy basil helps out with glaucoma. The sweet basil helps out with diabetes, and the Thai basil is like a real good aromatic for the lymphatic system and the immune system. These right here is good. So this is a super powered powder right here with everything that I've grown in my hydroponic garden. In last class, I showed where I was clipping off the jalapenos. So a lot of times you're like, what do I do with my jalapenos, tomatoes, cucumbers? Guess what? I pickled them. All you have to do when you harvest, you can leave the seeds in. If you want an extra kick, all you need is some vinegar. You can get a pickling mix and some water. That's all you need. And last but not least, pickles. You take the cucumbers, and I've grown the cucumbers in the hydroponic garden. And so with the small pickles, cut them up, you add the pickling mix, and there you go, some pickles. And another thing that's very beneficial, you got the canning method for the mason jars. The canning method, the real way of doing it is taking mason jars or actual canning jars that's a little bit bigger than these. You submerging it in a boiling hot water, or they have like the old school canning pots. I've seen them done in pressure cookers. But you have to do it at a certain time and make sure that it doesn't crack. But all that canning method does is seal the top, and it makes it last a lot longer, fresh. You can put it in your cabinet. So if we was ever on a lockdown again or something like that, you'd be like, I can go right to my cabinet. I can get me some fresh produce from my garden, or even the arrow garden. And there's another way. That's why I forgot to say. There's another way of growing it. Canning your mason jars. They have like these little small suction machines that all you got to do is place it on top of there, and then it will suck up all of the different air, and then boom, you can have your mason jar sealed. All you have to do is just continue looking at the top, taking it off, making sure that the seal is good on there, and you're good to go. Any questions or comments on preserving your fruits and vegetables and herbs or the canning method?
You say there's a faster way to do it without having to put them in the
canning pot.
Yes, what do you call that thing?
Let me go and get it real quick because I forgot. It's called an electric vacuum sealer.
Oh, gosh.
So this is my go-to.
Okay.
So all you pretty much do, and it don't work for the wide mouth ones. See, this one already came apart, so this is gonna be an example. It works for like the regular size. You place it right here, and then you turn it on. Once you turn it on, this one's about 20 seconds.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this is this is the easiest way of doing it. And all you have to do is charge it up.
Okay.
So you see that? It's sealed.
That's a bet. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Because when I started talking about canning, I forgot about the machine. So yeah, if you want to preserve your fruits and vegetables and you don't want to have to go through the old school canning method, but if you was out in the woods, you can do it. But in the city, you can go ahead and grab you an electric vacuum sealer, and it works wonders. This is my go-to. Like if you also want to make sauces, you can take a bunch of tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, make your own salsa, and you can preserve it, put it in the cabinet. There you go. Whenever you're ready to make spaghetti, tacos, and all of that good stuff, you can do that. And you can also do it all in the hydroponic garden. And also even with herbal remedies. One thing that I forgot to mention is that you can also grow certain flowers in the arrow garden as well. This right here are my echinacea flowers, because I just wanted to see if they was gonna grow. And so they do well in hydroponic gardens. But sometimes they can get real big, and that's why I said earlier in the call, that you want to make sure that you keep it away from the top of that light, or they will burn.
What about hibiscus? Because I love hibiscus.
I haven't tried hibiscus yet, and I do have hibiscus seeds. Now,
you tried it too. I love it. Can you try it and tell us how?
Yeah, I can try it in the arrow garden because I'm all about experimenting. I do have a hibiscus plant in the outside right now, nice. But I haven't tried it in the arrow garden.
Okay.
And the hibiscus plant is like it's pretty big.
Nice.
And so if you're a person that's an herbalist, you can take all of, like this right here is lemon balm. You can take the lemon balm, you can grow it, and you can dehydrate it. It looks just like this. This has been fresh in a Mylar bag. So this has been in a Mylar bag for at least about 4 months. And it's still fresh. So if I want to make my own powder, I can take this lemon balm, grind it up, and put it into my own type of powder. Lemon balm is a real good herb that helps calm the nerves. It helps with anxiety. It helps with relaxation. So that's why I grow a lot of stuff, because a lot of the stuff that I sell with my business, I also grow as well. One of my newest things that I dehydrated recently, herb wise, was the mother's wort. The mother's wort was very good, and from what I've read, that and that's what that is right now. The mother's wort helps with different hair issues, different scalp and different skin issues. So the mother's wort is a real good plant. This mother's wort literally is filling up, what I'll say this, by maybe a half a gallon, and I still have a lot on there. So herbs would definitely thrive in the hydroponic garden. Now, when it comes to dehydrating, you have a few different ways. Let me share the screen.
I meant to ask you last time, do you have a blood cleansing tea?
Yes, I have a blood purifier.
Nice. Okay.
So now you have the hang and dry method. I do have a basket out in the shed, and I also put it in the greenhouse. So I tried the air dry method. It works pretty well, but it does take a long time. Instead of it taking hours, it can take a week or two, depending on how thick the herb is. Now, if you was to break it down to just like the small petals and stuff like that, it can probably dry out a lot faster, and it also depends on the heat. Now, the thermo hydrator trays, those are like the small ones. Like you will see those are a little bit cheaper on Amazon, Temu, and stuff like that. Those are like those clear trays that you stack up on top of each other, and you can dehydrate it like that. Then it also, let's see, the screen curing. I never tried that method, but I've seen people do it. And to me, that's sort of the same way as like hanging it in one of those different baskets and allowing it to dry out. But if you're saying that, you know what, I'm not going to buy a dehydrator, I'm not going to do any of that stuff, you can start it right in your oven. You can just put it on your oven right where it says this. It says a low temperature. Just set it there. It says 1 to 3 hours. I've done it to at least eight hours. Depends on the herb, but you definitely want to make sure that it doesn't burn. So you want to continue checking on it every time. I've only done the oven method twice, and it turned out real good. So the oven method is a great method if you say, you know what, I don't want to spend 50 to 60 to 100 or something dollars on a dehydrator. The oven method is good. Now I don't know what this microwave thing. We're not gonna even look. We're gonna scroll back up. We're not gonna look at that. We're not looking at that. But the dehydrator that I have, I can't remember exactly how much I got it for Black Friday last year or something like that. I think I paid like 115, and it's a metal dehydrator, has different trays. So you might be able to find a dehydrator on different specials and stuff like that. With all of the holidays coming up, you got 4th of July, you got Memorial Day. You might be able to find all of this stuff on sale. And so this is the time to go and search and look and have an idea on what you are going to create. Once you have an idea of what you're going to grow, what you're going to create, that's when you go out there and you grab your items. Because me, I made the mistake and I started grabbing everything. You know how some people that are hoarders of different stuff, I find myself being a plant seed and everything. I'm grabbing every plant that I see. So you want to have a plan on what you're going to do, because if not, you would sit there in your backyard or in your kitchen and you're looking around, what am I going to do with this? So therefore, you want to make sure that you have a plan, or even if you don't have a plan, also know what you can do with your harvest after you harvest it and ways to preserve it. Like for instance, I just harvested some more jalapenos. I thought about making jalapeno salt. Dehydrate it, you can make it into, actual jalapeno salt. So you definitely want to experiment as well. Be creative. Be creative. Once you're creative and you like, hey, this is what I want to do, then you can get a great harvest, and then you also teach others how to do it. Whatever your when you get a huge abundance of the harvest, you can give it to someone. You got a family member that's saying that I don't want to go to the store no more. Guess what? You can be your family's farmer's market just by growing stuff indoors. So you definitely want to, get started. Any questions? Any comments? Let's see, somebody. What's the name of the bags again? They're called mylar bags, and I've got mine from Amazon. So these right here, they're like they got that tough material, because like if you was to send some through the mail, the inside liner would be with this, this type of material. So these are real good. I'm just not seeing that. Sorry about that. So they're called mylar bags, and these are the gallon size. They come in. They got like ones that come in the gallon, and I've also seen 5 gallon. And they also, what's another thing that's real good, because I also got a vacuum seal as well. You can get like the Mylar bags and get like a vacuum sealer, and you can seal the Mylar bags if you don't want to use it right now, or if you just want to have the one where you can just that has the zipper on it, you can do it that way. But if something that you're gonna preserve for a long time, you can dehydrate it, you can stack it up and put it in a corner. So just in case of emergencies, you got something ready to go.
I like it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Trying to see, is there anything else that I'm gonna cover? Now the thing about, oh yeah, let me there's also disclaimer. Now the thing about when you are adding seeds to, like, I'll say an aero garden or a smaller hydroponic garden, make sure not to overfill the cone. Because that's one of the mistakes that I made. I put way too many seeds in the cone, and just like this mother's wort, it's everywhere. Because fruit is, especially herbs, they are going to grow. They're going to grow a lot. So make sure you put like 1 or 2 seeds in there, and then also some of the seeds like peppermint, lavender. I think in a lot of the basils, they're really small seeds. So you probably want to have like some glasses on, a magnifying glass, a big light or something like that, to make sure that you're getting the seeds in there and not everywhere, because they will just drop down into the aero garden and you find a stem growing somewhere. So you definitely want to make sure that you are paying attention when it comes to the seeds, because the seeds are going to come in small. Especially like you can't even see this tomato seed, but that's how small it is. Just that small seed can grow a humongous tomato plant. Any more questions, comments? Cool. So the hydroponic is a great way of being able to still grow your own fruits and your own vegetables in the comfort of your home, and you don't have to worry about anybody or the HOA. You just got to make sure that you keep it away from the dogs. And then another thing about harvesting, before I forget, it's the same way as when I was showing last week about harvesting. that one mistake you do not want to do, you do not want to clip the main stem. That's one of the mistakes I made even in the arrow garden. I started to clip some stuff, and then I end up hitting the main stem, which would be the one kind of growing out the middle or more of the bigger one. You want to make sure you stay away from that, and when you're harvesting, just clip it like this, and there you go. See, this is a prime example. Let me turn this light off. It's a prime example of it being too close to the light. It starts to burn and stuff like that. And also, you want to make sure that you're checking up on it, because sometimes your leaves might start to turn yellow. That means that they're not getting enough nutrients. So once you see like your leaves and everything start to turn a certain color, you definitely want to prune that so it won't affect the other leaves. Also, just like for the outside garden, check up under the leaves for any type of bugs that might pop up. You want to make sure that you check up under there for any type of leaves that's gonna pop up. Now for the inside, you can use peppermint and neem oil to help out with your fruits and your vegetables on the inside. Because I don't know how bugs get in here, but they will find a way in here some way and somehow. So you definitely want to make sure that you're treating the hydroponic garden the same way you would treat an outdoor garden. Trying to make sure that I covered everything. Okay. So with that being said, if anybody have any more questions, comments, any thoughts before I end the call?
No, sir. Well done. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Now, next week is going to be the final class, but this one is going to be talking about growing mushrooms. That is the one that everybody's been waiting on. That's going to be the one that I'm going to show you how to grow mushrooms. And there are so many different ways, and it's interesting on how to grow mushrooms. There are so many different ways, and I'm trying them all. I'm trying them all just so I can show the experience. There are different ways from growing them in buckets, the mono tubs, or in one of those Martha tents, or even just old school, taking the block outside and putting it in your garden. So you definitely do not want to miss next week. That is going to be talking about how did I grow that big old mushroom.
I will be there for sure.
So thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate everyone. And just leave me, let me see, you can type in your email if you want the everything from all of the notes from tonight.